Hello friends, I welcome you all to my channel. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon to receive instant notification whenever I upload a new video on YouTube. So now in this video, in this lecture, we will be discussing a topic that is very much important for the NEET exam, but it is much difficult when you read the NCERT textbook, and that topic is eye. And we have another topic also, that is ear. These two topics are discussed in the chapter of neural control and coordination, but as I was learning this few years back, I used to find this a bit difficult to comprehend what is written in the textbook, and there is something that is lacking in NCERT which makes us unable to comprehend this to the 100% effectiveness that we are supposed to learn this. So in this lecture I will be taking this topic, that is of eye, and I will recommend you to learn the way I teach this and then link it to the way it is written in NCERT, and keep on reading NCERT till you get all those sentences in NCERT very much thorough in your mind. So let's proceed to the topic now. So let's begin with the topic of eye. So as you can see in the board, I have made a representation of this eyeball, and you will have to learn the diagram which is given in your NCERT. So link this diagram into the diagram which is there in NCERT. So this is just a simple representation that you need to have so that you can understand the entire structure of eyeball. So the first thing that I would recommend you to learn about eyeball is the location of the eyeball. The eyeball is located in the skull obviously, and it is in these areas the eyeball is located, and that is called as the orbit. So orbit is very important part of the skull, which is contributed by many bones in the skull. So that is how we will come to the answer for the location. So this is located in the depressions called as orbits. Where are they located? Inside the skull. And as you know, in the chapter of locomotion and movement, you have a diagram in there which talks about the bones in the skull. And there, if I just tell you, this orbit is actually bounded above by the frontal bone and below by the maxillary bone. But you needn't go to so much of detail if you don't want to learn. But yes, orbit is the word that you have to remember so far as the location of human eye is concerned. Now if you just talk about this diagram I have made over here, you can understand that the whole eyeball is actually made up of 3 layers, and that is how I have written the 3 layers as the fibrous coat, that is the outer fibrous coat, and just beneath the fibrous coat you have the vascular coat. Vascular meaning a lot of blood vessels are present over there. That is the most vascularized part of the human eyeball, and that is what is called as the vascular coat. And then inside the vascular coat, in deepest interior-most part of the eyeball, you will be having this particular red layer, that is the nervous layer. It is associated with the nervous system. So that is called as the retina of the human eyeball. So first of all, we will try to learn the layers as per what is given over here, and then we will link it to what is written in NCERT. So fibrous coat is made up of collagen fibers. So fibrous coat is made up of collagen. So this was a question that was previously asked, that it is made up of dense connective tissue. Dense connective tissue is repeated so much of times in the textbook, but what is this dense connective tissue? It is collagen, not elastin. So this is a dense connective tissue which is made up of collagen, and it lines the outermost part of the human eyeball. See, this is the green line that represents the fibrous coat of the human eyeball. So this is the fibrous coat, and this fibrous coat, as you can see, this green line circles everywhere here, and then it comes in the front also as a different thing. So it bulges out as a convex shaped structure in front of this area, in the most anterior part of the eyeball. So this part, this is the posterior 5/6 is called as the sclera of the eyeball. Sclera is the first part of the fibrous coat that we are talking about, sclera, and this is contributing 5/6 of the total fibrous coat of the eyeball. And in the front you can see that it extends in the front in this area as the cornea. So this is called as the cornea. So cornea contributes about 1/6 of the total fibrous coat. So that is how the whole fibrous coat is made. Fibrous coat is made up of collagen, dense connective tissue as it is written in NCERT. And what is this dense connective tissue? It is the collagen. Remember that fibrous coat is actually avascular. There is no blood vessel to supply the fibrous coat. There is no blood vessel for the sclera. There is no blood vessel for the cornea. And also, how is it getting the nourishment that it needs to get if it is devoid of blood vessels? See, you know that the second layer is the vascular coat. The vascular coat is richly supplied with blood vessel. Now, in this second layer that is demarcated with the black marker, that is called as the vascular coat. It has a lot of blood vessels, it gets a lot of nourishment. Now, once it gets nourishment from there, the sclera can get its nourishment from the vascular coat through the process of diffusion. So, sclera is avascular, it is made up of collagen, and it gets its nourishment from the inner vascular coat of the human eyeball. Let us proceed to the next part. So, we will be talking about the vascular coat now. See, vascular coat, just like sclera, it is made up of black line in this particular diagram, and it encircles over here, isn't it? So, this is this part of the human eyeball which is lying deeper to sclera, and this part is called as the choroid. Choroid is actually present on the posterior 2/3. Posterior means backside. So, this is present in the 2/3 part. Now, what you can see is that it extends to the anterior surface also. It extends to the front side also, and you see this is there, and these two structures are also present over here. These are the extensions of the choroid, and you will call this particular structure as the ciliary body and this particular structure as the iris. So, this is the ciliary body. Right, and this is the iris. So, iris is the opaque pigmented structure. It has a lot of cells in which pigments are present. Pigments means color producing substances. So, you have multiple cells over there which has the color producing substances inside them, and that is the reason by which the iris of a person is colored, and the most common color that you will see in all persons, most of the persons, is brown color, and it is associated with beauty of a person. Like we say that green color, blue color is associated with as you have so much of colors in the iris, the person is supposed to be beautiful. Now, the ciliary body is the second structure over here. So, from the ciliary body you can see there are certain fibers attached to this particular structure, that is the lens of the human body. This is the crystalline lens that helps to focus the light rays onto the retina, and it is attached to the ciliary body by the processes called as the ligaments of the ciliary body. So, these ligaments connect the lens to the ciliary body. So, the lens is attached to the ciliary body with the help of these ligaments, and iris is there, and in between the iris you can see a small opening over here, and this opening is called as the pupil. So, iris is pigmented opaque structure through which light will not pass, but pupil is a small opening in the iris through which the light can pass through. This way it goes through the lens and it will be forming the image inside the next coat of the human eyeball, that is the nervous coat or the retina. So, let us proceed to the next coat, that is retina. So, this is the interior most part of the human eyeball which is located on the posterior surface, and see this is how the retina looks like, and the light will be coming through the cornea. It comes through this area and it goes into the lens, and it comes out of the lens and it goes and forms the image of whatever you are seeing on the retina in the inverted form. So, that image of whatever you are seeing will be formed in the inverted form, and then the impulses are transmitted through this particular optic nerve. This is the optic nerve. Now, where is this optic nerve leading to? It is leading to the brain, and then it goes into the cerebral cortex, where the brain itself, where you are actually analyzing and seeing everything. So, that is how the transmission of impulses happens over here. So, retina is the nervous layer, it is associated with nervous system. It is actually a modification of nervous system through which the impulses of whatever image is formed on the retina, whatever you are seeing, that image will be forming on the retina, that will be transmitted through the optic nerve into the brain, and there everything will be analyzed. Now, which part of the brain takes part in the analysis of vision? Where do you see inside the brain? It is in the posterior most area on the back side of brain, occipital cortex. So, that is how we come across a rough idea about the structures forming the eyeball. So, let us proceed to further discussions about certain other things present over here.